some homosexual news. And let's talk about Andy Cohen going in on NutMeg McCain's big back ass for trying to go in on the trans community. And it's like she's supposed to be an ally, but apparently she out here reposting stuff about, and then talking about she want to have a debate or have me come on your show so I can get my say. Bitch, you just want a platform because you don't have one once your ass got fired over there at The View. So conservative pundit and former The View co-host NutMeg McCain's recent resharing of a social media post that some have deemed to be anti-trans has drawn the ire of Bravo personality and Watch What Happens Live host Andy Cohen. So in an exchange on social media, the homosexual Bravo producer questioned McCain's previous allyship of the LGBTQ community, saying he was disappointed that she shared an anti-trans tweet. So NutMeg retweeted a post on Twitter about anti-trans activist Peyton McNabb, who was invited by the Orange Asshole in Chief as a special guest to Tuesday's joint address to Congress, saying, quote, I've had the pleasure of meeting Peyton. She's incredibly smart, strong, and brave. This is what McCain said. Both she and her family have been through the unthinkable. Democrats defending young women suffering from traumatic brain injuries as a result of trans athletes is why they will continue losing every election. Wait, so somebody trans bumped into her and caused her to have brain damage? Like, what is this bitch talking about? Because I'm like, look, I did not watch that State of the Union. I was not sitting there participating and joining in the shenanigans that was that circus. Because we already knew what it was going to give. You were given a pomp and circumstance. You gave a long, drawn-out, stupid address, just rambling, per usual, like you at one of your damn rallies. And then you propping out a woman to go at the trans community. You trotted out this little black child, and your father's stupid for falling for it, holding the kid up like this is a scene out of fucking Lion King. I was waiting for them to come out and start singing The Circle of Life while he holding the child up, the one that was suffering from cancer. The very programs that the Trump administration cut, so that way he can give money to his robber baron friends. But you want to sit about here, want to use people as props to distract from all the BS. So big back bitch, miss me with the buffoonery. So in context, it seems NutMeg meant to say that Democrats are not defending these young women and trying to say that they continue to get caught up in identity politics. Y'all gonna keep defending the trans women, but what about us natural born women? I guess is what she's trying to say. I'm genuinely still confused. Like, I literally sit here sometimes and I try to analyze. Like, I definitely get in my Sigmund Freud bag when I be trying to analyze situations. But sometimes you can't analyze stupidity. So I try to make sense of it as I go along. So Cohen, who has had NutMeg as a guest several times on his Watch What Happens Live talk show, said the following: surprised you're buying into the vilification of the trans community, given the real problems happening in this country, your previous allyship of the LGBTQ community, and the fact that this non-issue affects about 4 people in this country. Because I keep telling you, it's less than 10% of trans people in the country. But this is what they want to focus on to distract from the other stuff. The price of eggs still going up. When the price of eggs going down? A lot of people just been fired from their jobs, federal jobs. Then they realize you can't be cutting this here, there, and everywhere. Now you're trying to give people jobs to come back to the very jobs, but their work emails no longer work because they're not in the federal company anymore. So you can't even get track of the people that work these jobs because y'all trying to cut things that you feel will not affect you. So you put these people on a job, and then you realize, oh my God, we can't be doing that. We got to bring these people back, but it's too late. So now we're going to see unemployment skyrocket. We're going to see food prices skyrocket. He's hitting all these other people with tariffs. I just heard that now Mexico is not going to be hit with the 25% tariffs because that president over there, she is not playing with his big orange ass. And he really think he could take down a woman. Maybe you can control that trans-looking wife of yours, but you can't control everybody else over here. And you're not controlling Mexico. So now I'm hearing all that's coming down. And now you got NutMeg out here with this foolishness because she needed a platform. Wasn't it the other day? And I didn't even talk about this on the show because I felt like it was a non-factor. Now she up in here going in on Alyssa Farrah Griffin, who's sitting in her old ass seat because she went in on Tulsi Gabbard. That's my friend. Bitch, you say everybody is your friend. And quiet as it's kept, you probably don't have that many. So they having their opinion. They not you living rent-free over in their head over there on that show. They ain't thinking about you. Yeah, they did throw a couple of reads last season, which was hilarious. But for the most part, you stay with that thinking about the view. They ain't thinking about your ass. You were insufferable. And here's the thing. This is the messed up part. Once upon a time, I actually liked NutMeg. Back when she was on Pivot and she had her little show. Yeah, there was a network called Pivot at one point. Came and went like a wet fart. But nevertheless, when I saw over there, and I was like, oh, look, a Republican who has got these progressive ideologies. That she seemed to be for the LGBTQ community. She seems a little more progressive in a lot of her thinking. Probably was all in that. Now that once she went over on The View, it's like she stuck like a dildo up her twat with blades on it and was just cranky the 4 years her ass was there. And I was sitting there like, you know what? Where was that person that we saw when you was on that little cable channel? And now that you were in the big leagues on network TV, probably due to nepotism, that I was like, oh yeah, she's going to come in and she's going to really give a different side of the Republicans that'll be the future. She ain't do that. She got up there acting like the biggest see you next Tuesday under the damn sun. And look at where we are. Now that the broad is off our TVs, I couldn't be way more excited. And I know she was doing her little podcast. I don't know if she still got it. I've been seeing the clips floating around every now and again on TikTok. But nobody's checking for NutMeg in that way. Nobody cares about her. So she got to keep doing this stuff. And Andy, I know you are old school homosexual. You know, you in your 50s. So you're a Gen Xer and all the other stuff. But sir, this is why you got to stop inviting fish into the situation. Leave the tuna, leave the tilapia over there. Because not all skin folk is skin folk. Not all tuna, tilapia, whiting and all the other stuff is a part of us. Now, if you want to come over on this side and be be an ally, that's great. The more the merrier. I love our allies. But then you get these people that show their ass like she does. This is why you got to keep them at a distance. Because when they show you who they are, believe them the first time. That's what Maya Angelou said. So, I'm disappointed that you would post this stuff. Everything that comes from this bitch is performative. I've never bought into a lot of stuff. I can't say I didn't buy into her stuff. Because like I said before, when I saw her on this other channel, I like NutMeg. But once she came over to The View, and we started seeing how she was getting, I don't know if it was maybe influence from that husband of hers. Does he even still have the Federalist? I don't know if it was maybe from her interacting with him. But once she started showing her behind, I was like, okay, bitch. Now you getting my damn nerves. Where's this tomato so I could throw it at her? This imaginary tomato. So now, after that, because I just went on this whole tangent, she basically clapped back at what Andy said. She said, surprised you're okay with violence against female athletes. Peyton suffered serious brain damage. Just one story. You have my cell. Always happy to talk privately or publicly on either of your shows because these conversations are reductive to hash out on social media. Well, that I will give her. Don't hash it out on social media because you're only getting a limit to speak out on whatever. And you know what? Maybe this would be a good excuse to have on your show. But Andy, if you're going to bring her on Radio Andy, not even Watch What Happens Live. Watch What Happens Live is so vapid. All you care about is the tired-ass housewives and them other shows nobody's watching. But if you want to have a moment to bring her on Radio Andy. Make sure you have all of the information, statistics and all, in regards of this BS regarding trans people, so that way you know what you're talking about. I would even say bring on a trans woman to have this conversation. I know y'all not going to go black and bring on like a Hope Giselle or maybe a Laverne Cox or even Peppermint, who I just think recently did an interview. I'm trying to remember who she do an interview with. Peppermint. because I know she did like a really big interview with one of the political pundits. He's like a progressive Democrat or whatever. But I know she did a recent interview over on YouTube. But bring somebody on that actually will be well versed in this conversation to have with her, because Nutmeg. But then again, people like her ain't reasonable. We see how rude and disrespectful her ass got when she was sitting up there with her wide ass over on The View. We saw how she was acting when it came to that. So there's no reasoning with this Marjorie Taylor Greene light, her troglodyte looking ass. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards of Andy Cohen out here defending trans people? Now I was like, does it even explain what had happened? So before I even close out, I will fill y'all in with that, because I know y'all probably just as confused as me. Like, what is she talking about with that brain damage? So the girl claimed that after she was hit in the head with a volleyball during a match against a team with a trans player in high school, she suffered traumatic brain injuries. This allegedly took place while she was in high school student in North Carolina in 2022. Now, here's the thing. Now, is this the same excuse we're going to start using if y'all going to have trans athletes playing football? Oh, no, I got hit hard by some trans person. No, bitch, it's the CTE. So this is some BS. I do not believe that. Now she's trying to imply that, oh, well, y'all had a dude, because this is how they think. You're not even trans. Like, trans people aren't even human to a lot of these bigots. So it's, oh, this dude caused brain damage because I got hit so hard in the head. Well, bitch, that's always going to be a risk. You play any sport, there's always a risk that you could injure something. You could end up paralyzed. You can end up with brain damage. You can end up with CTE. That's just the name of the game when you're an athlete. So you're going to sit up here and say, oh, because that. And who says that? Where's the evidence that trans person spiked the ball and was the one that hit you upside your head? You just saying that because a lot of y'all like to weaponize and use other stuff. So y'all want to talk about identity politics, snowflakes, all that stuff. Republicans, the Trump Republicans, y'all be the main ones that run around with this narrative. So get off my line with the bullshit. I'm gonna call it out as I see it. So she said she was in high school. Well, girl, your brain still ain't finished developing. And they said over 214 female athletes between the ages of 14 and 23 suffered injuries while playing volleyball between 2012 to 2021, with nearly every single one happening in a game with no trans athletes. So with less than 10% of trans people actually in sports, I would even go on to say less than 5%. So every time a person got injured, 214,000 women was injured, it was a trans person that did it? No, but this is what they do. They drop certain words, woke, no men and women sports. Certain they drop certain words. It's almost as like y'all been programmed. Like this is some sleeper agent type shit. Like somebody say a certain word, y'all get active, and that's what it is. They say certain things to drum up the fear while they pull a Jaden Jackson's hole. Look over there. While I'm stealing your money. While I'm stealing your Social Security, while I'm not raising your minimum wage, while I'm denying you health care and your insurance goes up for the health care that you need. So these are all the distractions. Wake up. So y'all want to talk about woke? No, some of y'all need to wake the fuck up. How about that? Because y'all walking around sleepwalking and not realizing that by the time it's too late, and it is too late, because we are in an oligarchy. Y'all just haven't realized it yet. Welcome, because it's about to get worse. And buckle up, because the next 4 years, we ain't even 2 months in this shit yet. And this is what we dealing with. So buckle up, Buttercup, because it's about to get real severe up in here. So I want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story in regards of Andy Cohen and NutMeg McCain starting her foolishness on social media and spreading misinformation about trans women in sports, and of course, per usual, them over on the Republican side with their typical circus antics and trotting out this girl into a full-on well and had her injury ain't got nothing to do with no damn trans people. There's bigger issues there that don't want to deal with it. It's let's blame the trans people, let's blame the immigrants. They're taking your jobs, they're ruining your lives. No, it's the robber barons, it's the corporate vampires. They're the ones who are ruining your lives. It has nothing to do with trans people. It's not immigrants, because 9 times out of 10, these immigrants that are coming to this country are not doing the jobs that y'all are clamoring to do. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below.